Yeah. So, this was not a good purchase. I thought that it would be good, but it's not. Hello, everyone. So, this is going to be just a quick project video on a DIY chicken turkey feeder. So, as you saw, the one that I just showed behind me there, I bought that on Amazon. It wasn't that expensive. It was $20, I want to say, maybe $25. I was trying to set up a separate feeding area for the turkeys. I put it high up so that the hens wouldn't be able to get to it, the chickens. I liked when I got it, it looked nice. Had a nice lid on it. You just fill it up and it, self-loads. But it just didn't work out. Within 2 days, I think, all of the feed that I put in there was all on the ground, which is the pile you see right there. And there's been like 100 little birds here every day eating, all the other local birds, wild birds. So anyway, that's what this video is going to be. It's just a quick DIY feeder maker video. Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Please subscribe. Oh boy. Five turkey eggs. And one hen doing what she's supposed to. Those are my fake eggs that I glued screws on and stuck into the matting there. And she keeps picking them out and throwing them out the door. Guess she doesn't like my fake eggs. All right, so you saw in the video the turkey eggs that we have going. So far, Jenny's laid 7 eggs. One got smashed by a bowl because I had a little bowl in there with food in it before I bought the feeder that doesn't work. And the chickens got in there and they flipped the bowl over and it fell on one of the eggs, so it cracked it. And then there was another egg that I think Mr. Hati got into because he loves eating eggs. So yeah, the egg was all gone. It was just a shell that was left. So looks like a little tongue was eating the egg. Anyway, so she has 5 eggs. We don't know if they're fertilized or not, but we're gonna wait and see. She does go and sit on them occasionally. From what I read, turkeys don't sit on them full time until they get like 9 to 11 eggs, something like that. So once she lays that many eggs, then she'll sit on them full time. If she gets to that many, we'll see. She had a few days there where she laid an egg every day, and then there was a couple days in between. Normally turkeys will lay 1 egg a week, sometimes 2. But right now is turkey mating season, so we'll see if they hatch or not. I don't know. So back to the build. Let me flip the camera around here. So basically this is the only components that I have for the feeder. I did have a small section of 4-inch ABS, which was just here on the property when I moved in. So I've been hanging on to this for over a year because I thought, hey, someday I might need that for something. So today's the day. So basically the way this is going to work, yes, Jerry, I see you. So the way this is going to work is this is basically going to end up being the feed hole. So what will happen is, yes, Jerry, I see you. So what will happen is I'm going to cut a small section of this off and it'll go into the bottom of this. And I'm going to cut just enough to fill this and then for one of these caps to go onto it. And then that'll be the bottom. And then the top piece will go in the top, obviously. So the way this works is you fill the pipe with feed, it comes down here, it spills into this opening a little bit, and then as the turkeys eat, it'll just keep refilling itself until it gets all the way down. So I wanted to go with this style rather than actually gluing on a cap, because that way if I need to clean it out or anything, I can just pull this off. So yeah, basically just going to measure this and cut a section off and then get it glued into the bottom here. And then we'll glue the other piece into the top, and then we will go, most likely it's going to go in the same spot where the current one is. I got to make sure everything fits, but we'll see. All right, so I have that old feeder removed, and basically what I want to do with this, this is not glued yet, and I'm going to end up cutting this top. I just want to see where it's going to be at. And I put together this little, just two pieces of 2x4 with screws, and then basically I'm going to put this in down here as a spot for this to rest on. I just have to figure out where exactly I'm going to put it first. But I want this to be higher up because I don't want the hens to have easy access to it. So it's basically going to be just above where like the level of their head is, which is going to be somewhere around here, about where I had the old feeder at. Because I don't want the hens going in here and eating, even though it's similar food. I want the turkeys to know like they have their own spot to eat at. Yeah, so let me try and get this thing situated and set up, and then get a measurement where to cut this off. All right, so now I'm going to trim this top, and in case you missed it in the time lapse, it's 1 shaka. So if you didn't know, a shaka is a unit of measurement. All right, so since I made a stop for this to sit on, I'm not even going to put the hose clamp on there. There's no need. This is not going to be a lot of pressure on here, and it's going to be supported by that little bracket shelf that I made. So just to go over the cost of this, this piece here, the union, or I guess this is a Y, that was about $12. And this is 4-inch ABS piping. So the ABS piping, of course, I had that. I had a piece laying around. But if you were to buy a full stick of that, which I think it comes in 10-foot lengths, I think it's around $20, $22, something like that. And then these rubber caps are about $5. So all in all, this whole thing is going to end up costing me less than what I paid for, you know, the feeder that didn't work, which is that thing right there. So I'm going to go ahead and just use the same strap that came with the feeder, because that's still useful. And then I'm going to go ahead and get this glued up here, and then we can go ahead and install it and then fill it with some feed. One other thing that I wanted to go over, when you're cutting ABS on a chop saw like this, or any motorized saw really, you have to do it quickly because the ABS will actually start to melt. So if you see those edges, that's the ABS actually starting to melt. And that's because it's really low melting temperature, so just the saw cutting through it gets warm enough to start to melt it. So if you're cutting with a hand saw, or even a jigsaw probably wouldn't really melt it. Just any kind of a circular saw like that. Hi Jerry, I see you. Hi Mama. All right, so now it's in place. It actually fits kind of snug between the chicken wire and that 2x4 and then sitting on the little shelf. But I am gonna go ahead and put the strap on it anyway, just because I don't want it to move at all. The feeding port is facing inward, so it's underneath the roof for the most part. Plus any rain coming in is not gonna be going into it, so it should be okay. If I end up having to move it, then I'll move it, but I think this spot will be good. And I ended up cutting it so it's above all this, so it's easy to fill. So yeah, let me get this strapped, and then I'll go mix up some food. All right, everything's in place and done. Now let's go mix up some feed. So for the most part, turkeys eat the same as what chickens do. And this is the scratch that I mix up, that I feed my chickens and the turkeys. This is a mix of scratch grains, which is basically corn, a couple other things, and then I also put in the black sunflower seeds. I buy that in a separate bag, and then I also put in what they call the 3 grain mix, which is from Dell's, or is now Tractor Supply here. So the 3 grain mix is has wheat, soybean, steel cut corn, and Milo. And then that is the sunflower seeds, which I know you can't really see that well. So I mix up all 3 of these, and then that's what makes up the scratch that I feed to my chickens. They do actually have turkey food. This is just a higher protein feed, and this is more for, I guess, when you have chicks and you're growing them for food. So you want them to be able to get plenty of protein so that they grow. Usually I think turkeys are harvested around 6 months old. So I'm going to just mix all of these together and then make a feed for them and then go put it in there. I'm hearing a lot of thunder, so I think it's about to start pouring again. Okay, well that's all the way to the top. So I got a little extra. That's done. Let me grab this. So as I was filling it, I noticed that there's a little bit of spill out. But I think once they start eating this, it'll kind of come out a little bit smoother. So we'll see. I may end up having to revamp this. What I may end up doing is I'll add in a piece of the piping and then cut it like at an angle just to stick it out a little bit more. But we'll see how it goes. See how this works. Can't be any worse than my last one. Okay, so I did notice it seems like I'm getting a little more runaway on this than I expected. So basically what I did is I had another one of these rubber caps, and what I did is I basically cut out that much, and then I'm going to put this on there so it'll have a stop, and then should still be plenty of room for the turkeys to put their head in and grab food. Always something. So I guess I need to cut another piece just to slip this on, because this is the same size as that. Yeah. Okay, let's try this again. Hey mama, you sitting on your eggs, Jenny? I'll try not to disturb you, but you might get up anyway. Okay. So yeah, let me put the camera down. All right, and there we go. And then this one, of course, I put the hose clamp on because I could see this getting pulled off pretty easily. So yeah, that is it. A new feeder for the mama and her eggs. That's the other thing, is once she starts sitting on the eggs, once she gets 10 of them or so, she sits on them full time, so she doesn't really leave at all. So I want to be able to have food right nearby for her. Right? You're like, whatever. Jenny. Alright guys, well, that is going to wrap up this video. I hope that you guys found that useful, and somebody may be able to, make one similar. If you guys have chickens or turkeys or, whatever animals you might have. And I guess we'll see how it works out. I'm sure I'll probably do an update, a few videos down the road. And I'm hoping to, I had a little reprieve from the rain here, so that's why I did this project. I'm still working on the main gate posts. I'm hoping to do that this weekend, or to get that finished up this weekend. I guess we'll see if there's no rain. Been getting just tons and tons of rain the last few weeks, so yeah. So just as always, I want to say thank you guys for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Please subscribe, and I will see you guys on the next video. Aloha. Oh, look at that. So while she was sitting here, she laid another egg. So now we have 6. Nice.